Booyah!
Hey.
What's happening?
Hello, everyone. Hey.
They've taken Marsha away. There she
Hello. There we are.
Hi, Marsha. Your mic ain't on,
Howdy,
Marsha.
everybody. Yep, I'm unmuted now. How's everybody doing today?
All
So I
good.
think I scared people away by saying only people who really want to talk and get involved need to come into this part of it. And now
I
I've
guess you
scared
found out
everybody
who the
away.
big mouths are.
There's only 5 of us. I'm sure more people are popping in. It's getting busier and busier, so it's obviously tough for everyone to do things that I guess are not directly related to making money.
Maybe it was your authoritarian tone. Yeah.
Yeah.
I read that and thought, oh,
Yeah.
okay. Deep breath.
Speaking of making money, I actually I recorded a podcast today with a gentleman from Gateway Studios, which was sponsored by my good friend Ben Saltzman at Act Lighting, and probably one of the coolest, most important podcasts I think I've recorded so far. I mean, it's these guys are the real deal. They're amazing guys, and I can't wait for everybody to hear it. So that'll be up on Friday. So
That's quite a statement, because you've had some really interesting. Actually, as that music was playing, I was thinking, because was it Chaz who started life at the recording studio in London?
Yeah.
I very specifically remember being at the Hilton in Guangzhou on the treadmill, listening to that.
Oh, really?
That
That's
episode,
hilarious.
like in one of the last whatevers before whatever that is
Before
ending,
COVID.
right? the name that shall not be spoken. We should make a rule at some point.
Oh,
for
yeah.
at least this thing, like no one's allowed to. If you say COVID, you got to do a shot or something like
The
that.
swear jar. No, you got to put $1 in the swear jar.
There you go. Yeah, but make
Yeah.
it something. Make it something that'll act. Yeah, make it something good.
$20 in the swear jar if you say COVID.
The C word.
I like it.
C word. Yeah.
Yeah,
The C word.
yeah. There you go. The
The
C
new
word.
C word.
No one can
It is-
say the C word.
It is truly a
That's
C word, isn't
fantastic.
it?
Well, I will tell you one really cool thing that came out of this podcast today was I asked the guys. So I had all 4 leaders of this company, which are 4 major big hitters in our industry, right? And I said, how difficult was it launching a business like this during COVID? Like, did it get a little bit scary? Was it like, oh my God? And they said, no, actually the opposite. If it wasn't for COVID, we never could have done this. And I said, that's interesting. And they went into some things, including like all 4 of us were sitting around with nothing to do. So we could jump on Zoom calls and start talking about, hey, could we pull this off? How could we do it? Along with the chairman who is the funding source behind it. But really, really interesting observation that I just kind of went, well, duh. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. So pretty cool. Although I just said COVID like about 7 times. So I'm poor. I got to hang up now. Bye.
Yeah, we are counting.
So conversations I've had with friends and colleagues over the past week, it seems that the lid's blown off of events. People are booked like from
Insanity.
coin another event producer friend of mine in New York from 0 to 100 in less than a week.
Yeah.
She's got major venues all over the city that are booking like crazy. Lincoln Center, Damrosch Park, Brooklyn Museum. Where else did she mention? Somewhere down on the piers. It's crazy, which is great. People are busy.
Yeah, I saw a post. I don't remember if it was on Facebook or LinkedIn or what today, but Susan Tesh made a comment, something like, like it's gone batshit crazy or something. No, actually, what did she say? It's like we went from, running 10 miles to get somewhere to sitting on a couch doing nothing to now we're, running 10 miles or something. I forget, but it was a really good sort of depiction of what's going on right now. But it's insanity. It's insanity. I hope it's translating to gear orders, Ben.
It's actually it's coming back faster than we expected. I thought it was going to take until early next year before the rental companies ran out of stuff, but that seems to be happening faster. And maybe it's the nature of the gigs, right? There's more one-offs. There's more short-fed. Nobody wants to do a 30-city tour right now because of the cancellation risk. So maybe the greater number of one-offs takes more utilization or something. We need somebody from like Christie or Forward, somebody with a really great system to explain why utilization's higher right now. But it definitely seems like the shops need equipment. And I think that we talked about it a little bit last week. People are asking for things and they're asking to have them overnighted, which is, certainly outside our expectations.
Yeah. Also, that 30-city tour thing that you just said, I'm not so sure because, like, I talked to two different people today who both were at Rocklittitz on different shows.
Yeah. No, that's true. It's true.
So, they were both rehearsing tours that are going out very soon on totally different shows. And they were both I was like, wow, what a weird coincidence. I just got off the phone with so-and-so and he's at Rocklittitz.
Yeah. I guess I'm thinking big world tours, I guess maybe is what I should say.
One of them was Foo Fighters.
Yeah, but that's the thing. That's it. Yeah. Is that a tour? Or is that the thing at the Garden?
I think it's both.
Is it? Okay.
They're definitely touring. Yeah. I mean, the Garden thing is what they're doing at Rocklittitz right now.
Right. That's what I'm saying is, have they announced dates for their new world tour? I don't know. I shouldn't,
Yeah.
Where's Wiseman? Either. Where's Wiseman?
He's at Rocklittitz.
He's at Rocklittitz. There you go. Get him on the phone.
Yeah. No, I mean,
just announced today that Bruce Springsteen is going to do his Broadway show again at the end of the month. He's going to throw in a run
that's
in
cool.
like 10 days, 2 weeks. Yeah.
See, that's actually an interesting point because I was concerned that the older guys and girls were really going to hold out longer, and that was going to be a real problem. Like they were going to go, we'll wait it out till 2022. But a lot of those older guys, they've got their shots and they're feeling pretty comfortable right now, and they're going to hell with it. I want to get out and do some shows.
Yeah,
well, I think it's also easy for him because the Springsteen thing, he's a one-man show. He's done it before. It's a way to utilize the theaters before September when the Broadway shows are fixing to come back as well. And I noticed in Albany and in Troy, there's a lot of activity with film productions, and they were announcing at the Proctor theaters where they're doing some preps on Broadway shows, large Broadway shows at that. So things have just gone wide open, which is fabulous.
Yeah. It's funny. I got the two big console guys sitting next to each other here. I'm looking at both of you.
It sort of rings a bell with what Ben's saying, though, because people are spending. People are spending more, but of course we've revised all of our budgets down. So it's great. I'm hearing that you've beaten target for 3 months running.
Sandbaggers. Sandbaggers. We're crushing targets. Yeah, you just never set them low enough before.
No,
see, now you figured it out.
Whatever. We thought we had quite an optimistic return, but and the confidence does seem to be there. Yeah. We've been hit because they've put us back 4 weeks, as you probably know. So that's sort of there's a huge frustration.
What do you mean? What happened?
We're supposed to unlock on the 21st of June. It's supposed to be full unlocking, shows going ahead. And they've moved that back exactly a month. So all of the people, and there was a lot of stuff lined up for that time. I mean, it's I'm so pissed.
That's insanity.
To visit, but it's, that's the least of the problems when it's people.
What's that based on? Some variant or something?
That's right, this Delta variant. They seem to be incredibly cautious. We've had 0 deaths for 3 days. 3 days out of a week. I mean, so it's almost nothing.
Well, that's just not enough, Steve.
So what do you think? Maybe prostate
Zero
cancer
is not enough.
Cancel touring because of prostate cancer?
Yeah, I mean, well, I guarantee you've probably had some deaths from, roadies committing suicide because they can't make their mortgage payment. And
I don't really want to go there, exactly. So yeah, I think it is overcautious, and there seems to be quite a backlash going about it. So we'll see what happens. But certainly the rest of the year, it's just. They told me that the O2, which is the biggest London venues, that's booked out right the way till 2023.
Wow.
The date. So that's these are good signs. These are really good signs.
So if you could just get out of lockdown, the market's there. They want to see shows, right? You just got to get the hell out of lockdown.
I did go to one last Friday. It's the first show I've been to, I think, for about 14 months, and it was organized as a socially distanced event. So. It was about sort of 200 tables. Each table took 6 people. They had deck chairs. It was outside. A lot of video, big production. It was great. We were really excited. We had the whole Pioneer DJ thing working, the Synergy thing working. It was a showcase for us. But of course, by the end of the night, there's so much security, but they just still can't keep people from getting close to each other. People start dancing. They've been drinking all afternoon, and the trouble is, of course, all this stuff goes up on Instagram, doesn't it? I was trying to take pictures to post and not take anything. I mean, there was still, it was a much less, it was certainly more spread out than any concerts in the past. But, the 2 meter distance, well, that's not going to happen, is it? That's quite hard to police, I noticed.
Bob, what's Hawaii doing now?
Well, Hawaii is actually, we've reopened to 1/3, I guess, capacity if you don't bother to test anybody, and 2/3 if you can prove vaccinations or you take a test on site. And that's a change as of just a couple days ago.
Yeah.
So,
and how do you prove vaccinations? Just the silly little card?
Yeah, they're working on that. I mean, as of today, yesterday, you can fly inter-island with a Hawaii vaccination card. They claim that in another month they'll accept that from the mainland. But they got to figure out how to. I don't understand these things, but there's no consistency state to state, so there's all kinds of room for error.
But Bob, can I come to Hawaii?
Well,
this is what I'm trying to ask you, Bob. Can I come to Hawaii?
Absolutely, no question.
Yeah, thanks. I'll be held up in the airport for like 12 days or something.
Oh, no. If you take a COVID test, you're here. That's it.
Yeah.
Hopefully another month that'll disappear. But there's like 35,000 people a day roaring in.
Hey, Steve Warren, I don't know if you noticed, but our buddy Steve Watts just popped in a comment saying the 4-week UK delay to opening up is another kick in the teeth to the industry that has little to no financial help. Sounds like you guys have done an even worse job than our government here in the U.S. has done.
Marcel, I was on a promise to myself to try and avoid the whole topic of this 4-week delay because it's absolutely like a punch in the stomach. I mean,
it really is.
Everyone was ready. Everyone's geared up. And so much stuff kicking off there now. Of course, there's lots of stuff later in the year which is unaffected. But just to, you're trying to trust the government. You're trying to trust the figures they've given you. So far, they've stuck to the other 3 previous dates. So by the time we get to this 4th date, everyone's feeling pretty good. Because the last 3 dates have all been stuck to stage 1, 2, 3. But we fell at the final fence really. So I can understand.
Yeah, but Steve Watts, I spoke with him really early in the pandemic, and he was a good countryman, and he was like, I'm going to do my part, and we'll buckle up and tighten up our expenses, and he was saying all the right things. And as time went on, it became like, oh my God, what the hell am I supposed to do here? What do these people expect from me? And I get it, man. I'm completely with them. It's we didn't bring this thing on, and we're not making any of these decisions that are impacting our businesses, but it's depressing.
Everyone's complied. Everyone's done what's asked of them, so come on.
For the most part.
Meet us halfway.
Yeah. Did you see this bomb thing in Italy today?
No. Wow.
A car bomb outside the soccer stadium.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
What's wrong with people?
Yeah, exactly. What's wrong with people? Yeah.
Ben, I don't know if you were talking, but your mic's muted if you are. I saw your lips move, but I didn't hear anything. Maybe you're talking to your kids. Still can't hear you, Ben.
Yeah, you're out of here.
Oh, the world waits for Ben.
Yeah.
And we're going to trust this guy with our consoles. Come on, man. Now he's taking away the picture too. Now he's really
Talk about putting him on the spot, Marcel.
Yeah.
I'll stick up for Ben. I mean, Jesus, so I'm going to start getting judged on my ability in Zoom. I'm getting really nervous.
Well, now that Ben's
Well,
gone, let's just
go
say Steve's mic is working fine.
I'll leave now. Just myself. Stop putting him under pressure.
Not nice.
Yeah.
As long as your lights don't go out, Steve, you're all right.
Oh, there you go, man. Oh, baby. Well,
No, I mean,
you gotta smile. I mean, you just got to, whatever. We're going to get through it. We've got through lots of other things in the past. We're going to get through it. And the way that the other recessions, of course, this has been whatever. This is a thing on its own, isn't it? It's like no other. But all of that.
Ben Marsha was talking shit about you. I'm just letting you know.
Well, it's all right. I'm used to it. It's okay. I'm a big boy.
Marsha was completely talking
I
shit
was
about
I was asking my poor little MacBook to do too many things at the same time, so I just had to bail out of everything else.
Close your Morgan Stanley thing and your whatever else, TD Waterhouse and all that other stuff. Get out of your investments and get on with this for a minute, will you?
We're here.
It'll probably break 75,000 next couple of seconds.
Which will?
I said, as soon as he closed all those
Bitcoin,
windows,
Right.
And Bitcoin will get 75,000.
I really wish I could figure it out because I know that people are making loads of money on that and I'm not. So
I can't figure it out.
I can't figure it out either.
Marcel, come on, it's not that difficult to buy a few. I mean, my kids have just come into some money on an inheritance, and I'm saying, look, kids, it's great. It's exciting to have some money, and you're gonna get a flat, get an apartment. But put 2%. If you're cautious, put 1 or 2% in it. If you're feeling really gung ho, put 5% in it. But put something in it. Why not? Because if you're going to keep 95% of it in property, get yourself a property, which is a great idea. Property's always been good for me. It seems crazy not to put, a little bit, like 5% or 2%.
I'm thinking of buying an RV instead. I'm thinking of buying like a van and joining the whole van community.
I've done both.
Van life.
I've done both.
Yeah. So
I like the idea.
Marcel in his own touring bus.
Are you still doing the van thing, Steve? Have you done anything fun?
We've only had it 2 weeks, but yes, we had a little mini festival. To be honest, we're so sick. Everyone I know is in this industry, and that's what they do: organize festivals. So we were just so pissed off, quite frankly. We got about maybe 35 of us together. A friend he's bought a quarry, but it's no longer used as a quarry. It's stopped using it as a quarry about 100 years ago. So now it's it's like encased in granite sort of walls. You go down into this massive football pitch size place, but it's got granite walls with plants growing out of it and trees. And then we had projection, man. We had projection on the side of the quarry with our own DJs. It was
of course you did. When are you going to grow up, Steve? Steve will never grow up.
No,
Never.
That's why we're
That's
doing
amazing.
it, And it looked amazing, projection on real things. I mean, I don't know if you've ever seen faces projected onto trees, because the tree is sort of naturally a 3D object. It's one of the coolest projection things I've seen. It's great. I think it's great using sort of electronics and creative stuff, but on real stuff. It was mind blowing.
And so other people had vans converted into like RVs and stuff down there too.
About half and half, really. There were tents, tents. And,
tents.
But I suppose a lot of the people I know who do festivals, even the guys who organize Arcadia, they live in they've just both bought houses in the last year and a half. But all this time, they've lived in the most amazing, huge RVs, kitted out as you'd expect from Arcadia Lighting Crew. So it's quite cool. big Mercedes, the sides come out and all that stuff. Ours is just a little van. It's just to do some European festivals, meet some of the people. It's nice to meet people on, in front of house. I think that's my favorite part of the whole thing. Meeting people in the house.
That's cool.
Yeah, let's have more of it.
I know people are going to LDI. Now Plaza is beforehand. You guys feel like that's something you guys are going to attend? You guys are going to do
is
it?
Plaza happening, Steve?
It's funny. My partner asked me the same question today. I would be so sad and shocked if it wasn't. One of the difficulties I have is the reason we were talking about it is because I've got another wedding in September. Of course, because nobody's able to get married for the last year and a bit. They're all pushed forward. So this year is just a cluster of personal events, family events, and of course Plaza. We've never missed one since '88. So yeah, damn right, we absolutely would be there.
Yeah.
Long time you came back over, Bob. It's a long time.
Well, you think they could set an altar at one end of Plaza and have all the marriages at one time right there. They'd have the best light in town.
Yeah, that's right. Crack next.
Yeah, that sounds like a brilliant freaking idea, Bob. Jesus Christ. Yeah, you lose half your money on the show floor and the other half, getting married. There you go. Brilliant. Well done, Bob. Thank you. Holy shit.
What's that?
Sorry.
Would you like some ice with your bitter and twisted, Mr.
Yeah. Yeah. Cheers.
Cheers. To
Always
divorce. Absolutely. Yeah, to expensive divorces.
Yeah. So, trying to think of what else I heard that was incredible this week. Oh, there's another. So this Gateway thing. Speaking of Gateway, so Steve, you don't know what Gateway is probably, but it's a very large business being built over here. Do you know Rocklititz?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so it's similar to Rocklititz, but it's got a built-in sound, lighting, and video rental company, and it's got a total of 4 rehearsal studios, and the largest one is the size of a football field.
Oh my Lord.
And the smallest one, I think, as I recall, is like 100 by 120 feet or something like that. But the largest one carries 2 million pounds. So, massive weight from the roof. I think the smallest one is 1 million pounds. And, just absolutely everything. They've got an airstrip across the street for people to fly in their private jets. They've got a hotel with tons of rooms, and they've got these things called baller suites, which they call baller suites. I think they're called star suites or whatever for like Beyonce and Jay-Z to stay in when they come for rehearsals. But just everything, like every studio has their own catering. Every studio has their own offices. So like you could have Bon Jovi in one, Beyonce in another one, the Rolling Stones in another one, and they'll never bump into each other. It's pretty incredible. But I just found out in the last 24 hours that there's a second one being built in Nashville called Elevation Studios, which I hadn't heard of before. I think Elevation, it might be a little earlier stage. So, these guys at Gateway are fully funded. It's real. They've got a management team in place. The sound and lighting company's already bought gear. And, they're up and running. And they're breaking ground next month on their facility, which is 350,000 square feet, 330,000 square feet on 32 acres, as I recall. So anyways, so Elevation now is building the same not the same, smaller version of this, but in Nashville. So I think one thing Rocklititz taught us is that there's a huge need for rehearsal spaces like this that are sort of like they call themselves the Swiss Army knife of rehearsal spaces because they have everything. So pretty cool concept. I mean, it's a big cojones kind of business model, though. You're spending a huge amount of money to get people in there. That's for sure.
Heavens.
I think you need one of those in Hawaii, though, Bob.
I was just thinking that maybe on a flotilla.
Yeah.
I think acts would love to come to Hawaii to rehearse.
You think?
Well, maybe more so than St. Louis, where this one is. You know.
I might have mentioned this before, but we've had at least 2 or 3 groups that have come to Hawaii in the onset of an Asian tour, particularly if they haven't been on tour for a while. They'll play one date in Honolulu and then they'll backdate by a week and a half to 2 weeks, and they'll just do rehearsals here before they go out.
Mhm.
Now, that was one interesting thing. When I used to have a lighting rig in Guam, and because there used to be a carry point like Australia, Guam, Honolulu, back to the U.S. mainland. There's kind of a route you could do. Nowadays, with bigger jets, they can bypass. But anyways, but Guam was really interesting because Southeast Asia, you'd have acts that were, smaller, middle of the road. They'd be playing clubs in the United States, but during Vietnam, they were played in all the radios, and all the locals heard this music and became enamored with it. So these guys would land in Guam going, holy moly, I can't believe we sold out a stadium. We sold out 3 stadium shows. Not even talking about arena shows, but suddenly they're going back in time, like Three Dog Night, and Air Supply, and that kind of a line of group. And they were so happy to be with it again.
Yeah.
Cool.
It was interesting.
That's really cool.
We had a place
Yeah.
like that here in West Palm Beach for a couple of years, Marcel, where we used to do bands. There was an old studio off Jog in Okeechobee that they were supposed to originally do a soap opera. And for years, I mean, we did Ozzy there and Dylan and Britney, and just no one knew it was there. And then
What
they
was
sold
that
it to
called?
Cost Signs. It was the Ocean Studios. Barbizon was like, remember Barbizon opened that office in West Palm
Yeah.
Beach for a blink.
Yeah.
They were like 2 blocks away from it, right next to that bowling alley. So it was really a
that was
cool
before
thing,
me.
but the owner just kind of couldn't keep it together, unfortunately. But we had, everyone wanted to go there because it was just a big empty studio. No one knew. Brittany was there. We had a 85-year-old security guard sitting at the end of the road. But no one knew you know what I mean? But no one knew she was there. So it was just here in West Palm Beach. It was went on for a good couple of years.
Who did
Fun.
it sell to?
I think Cough Signs owns it now because they wanted that height so they could build those outdoor signs inside.
Interesting. That's wild.
Makes sense, right? But yeah.
Yeah. Evan, your business has to be back in a big way with labor, especially.
Well, we're starting to pick up. Florida's in that weird place because everything's opening up in a time that traditionally Florida is gaining less because we're going into what would typically be off season. So we're picking up. The Palm Beach County Convention Center seems to have all these pop-up shows happening that never happen in June. I got a basketball event. There was a small conference. So, I mean, we're starting to get like a lot of last-minute rigging calls and stuff to get banners and aisle signs and stuff like that kind of happening. But other things like I do a lot of city stuff, and it depends on which city you're working with. City of Boca, they will not do anything till November. They're refusing to open up or issue any permits for anything until at least November. But yet West Palm Beach just announced 4th on Flagler today, but they use a pretty small company to kind of, handle their needs for that. So it's kind of touch and go. We're getting busier. I'm starting to open up to do in-person interviews and going back out and starting to recruit again. So I'm looking forward to sitting across from someone and having a conversation with them other than these great Zoom conversations. So I'm going to start traveling to my Orlando office next week and start kind of opening up. Sales-wise, I mean, people are starting to come in. Expendables are starting to move a little bit more than just the House of Worship stuff because we have the brick and mortar store here. So that's starting to pick up. But it seems like we're a little bit slower. But then there's some big events that just happened. Kingdom just happened in Orlando with 40,000 people at the Orlando Fairgrounds over the weekend. And that seems to have gone really well. So it's a little touch and go, but it's getting there. It's definitely picking up.
Yeah.
But again, it's a weird time for us because July, June, July, August, September are my slowest months. So the world is kind of opening up. So things are happening, but I think we're going to see a huge, October, November down here, definitely.
So Evan, 40,000 people. I'm astonished. So what sort of rules? Did they have a lot of rules in place or one-way systems?
We're in Florida. There are no rules.
That's fantastic.
Don't sneeze or cough on anyone. No, I mean, I don't.
Oh,
I wasn't
don't
there,
get
but
Marcia started.
They're pretty. They've been pretty liberal at that fairgrounds in general. The people that run that have really been pushing things through. So I mean, I think they wanted to do more, but I think they just everything's pretty much open down here. I mean, I recently went to the Hard Rock Casino, and that seems to be jumping off the chain. And I mean, I recently went to Disney with my family for a couple of days, and at this point, there were still mask mandates and stuff, but the parks were busy. I mean, people are out there. So, and then I hear England shut down.
I'm sorry, did you just say at this point there were still mask mandates? Are there no longer mask mandates in some places?
Not in Florida.
Wow.
Not even in New York.
Well,
Nowhere.
Steve, I haven't worn a mask. I haven't worn a mask in 3 weeks.
You guys are killing me. I'm gonna have to leave the room and get some tissues out of my tears. I can't see the screen.
Yeah. I don't even carry one in my car anymore.
Wow.
Yeah.
We're on like full alerts. Oh my God, I don't know what the hell's going on. And of course they're really pleased about the vaccine rollout. It's been super successful here.
Yeah.
So it's just, and I think that's what the shock is that everyone's asking themselves on what grounds. Vaccines rollout is absolutely super successful here. So I'm so shocked, man. It's great though. It's uplifting, because at each point these things sort of shake your faith. It's like, of course, and I've seen whatever, even though there were much different things like the Gulf War and 9/11, the way they hit our industry, but we bounced back so strong afterwards. But yeah, it's good. It's good news.
It's an interesting comment.
Get in there.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, and we're hearing from the rental companies that the New York Auto Show is a go also. So that's good news.
Wow. We turned to normal.
Governor Cuomo announced yesterday, everything's open, all holds are off on New York, 70% vaccine rate.
Yeah.
So,
it's going to be interesting. You mentioned that Springsteen show before. If I have my facts right, if I remember correctly, that's at the St. James, and they're selling full capacity, but you have to prove vaccination.
Right.
Exactly.
At the door.
Just like Stephen Colbert did with his show, he had first live audience on Monday, full capacity at the Ed Sullivan Theater. In fact, a friend of mine went. He gave away the tickets. They gave away, I don't know, they had 20,000 requests in the first 20 minutes or something ridiculous. I think the Ed Sullivan Theater holds about 700 people at max. Any case, full audience. You had to prove vaccination, and there were no mandates of any kind. People sitting next to each other. There were a few masks, but most people were maskless. It was very exciting to actually have and see live audiences, and you can almost feel the electricity generating through the TV screen as you're watching human interaction once again.
Yeah.
See, there you go from Chris. So the auto show.
Yeah, Detroit rescheduling though. Interesting.
See, the vaccination cards or proving vaccination in New York and stuff, it's just so, it's an interesting concept because we're not allowed to do it here at all. I mean, we had, like Steve was asking, with 40,000 people, they didn't have to be vaccinated. There's nothing in Florida that you can't show anything. You can't ask anyone if they've been vaccinated.
Yeah, it's a fine. It's like a $5,000 fine, isn't it? If you have someone prove vaccination.
Yeah, they pounded. No, they pounded that through a couple
it.
months ago. They pounded it through a couple months ago.
Well, because the cruise lines fought them a little bit on that, because cruise lines are sort of relying on the fact that they can force people to be vaccinated to come on the cruise ships, which does make a little bit of sense, I guess.
Yeah, listen, I got to prove my kid's vaccinated to send them to school, right? It seems a little. I don't quite understand this entire. Resistance.
I didn't know that about Florida. I mean, I got a card when I got vaccinated in Florida, so I don't really understand what the big deal is. If someone asks you to show it, if you have it, show it. What's the big fucking deal?
Oh, you know what the big fucking deal is.
But I didn't know that.
Come on, you know what the big fucking deal is.
I didn't know that about what you were saying, Evan and Marcel. But I did hear that one of the Carnival's cruise ships that was going to go out, or it did go out and got turned around, or it was going to go out and some of the crew tested positive, so they changed, or
No,
Some-
it was
something.
It was two people. Two people tested positive, and they were both in the same room, as I recall. It was like literally two people on the whole ship tested positive, and they were asymptomatic and blah blah blah. So
Wait, so if you're near somebody who has this thing, you can get it. Is that what you're saying?
what thing?
Well, I mean, isn't it that you can
The thing
carry?
we're not allowed to say. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, do we really want to go
That
to the
makes no
science
sense.
at this point? I don't.
Well, I do. I
Never
think you don't. I
mind
know
all
you don't
that.
believe in science, but that's okay.
Oh yeah, I don't believe in science. That's for sure. And I'm a no-masker, anti-masker, anti-vaxxer,
Anti-vaxxer. Don't forget
anti-Christ, anti-whatever. You know, I don't like
blasphemy,
anybody.
blasphemy.
Blasphemy. You're all a bunch of bastards. Yeah. So
Well, the good news
yeah,
is things are opening up and people are working and shows are being booked and sports events are being played and Chicago Stadium was full and the Mets even won yesterday. So how about that?
yeah. There's a miracle. So there's a funny one in
Yeah,
there
right?
too. The Montreal Canadiens. One of you guys has your sound up and it's echoing back to me here. The Montreal Canadiens went to play in Las Vegas in the NHL playoffs, and it was the first game between the two countries because Canada was playing Canadians and the U.S. was playing U.S. teams. But now they're getting near the final, and there's only 4 teams left, and one of them happens to be a Canadian team, Montreal. So they went to play in Las Vegas, and Montreal has been playing to either no fans or very few fans because of the leadership up there in Canada, I guess. And so they go to Las Vegas, and I mean, it's just a complete like party and, a festival atmosphere. And I saw videos and pictures and stuff, and all these Canadians players were like, holy shit, this is wild. And I think they were just like completely mesmerized, and they got beat 4-1. So, I think they were a little bit like overwhelmed by the whole thing because they've been playing to no fans all year, and they go to Vegas, and it's crazy.
But they were allowed to travel. I hadn't heard that. That's interesting because aren't the Blue Jays playing in Buffalo because they're not allowed? They didn't want people going back and forth across the border, I think.
Well, I don't think there's any back and forth. I don't know. Like, I actually, that's a good question, Ben, because I don't know if they go back to Canada to play or if they just play all their games in Vegas now or how that works. But I'm really, really unsure to that. I think Canada made an exception for like stars and athletes or something to that effect.
Yeah,
but
there's definitely though when you talk to people up in Canada, and I know your sister's not here today, but like when you talk to people up in Canada, they're having, like Steve was saying before, they're having a very different experience.
It's weird.
Gallo, from Solitech is going. He just got his second shot, and he's going on his first trip, I think, next week. Or something. His first business trip since. And
the good news is
a different experience.
Yeah, I think they've gotten much better with vaccines up there because I know all 3 of my sisters were scheduled like weeks from now still, and all 3 of them got their second shot this weekend. So I think it's becoming more widely available where you can just kind of call the drugstore down the street and go, "Can I get in tomorrow?" Yeah, we have an opening that just came up, So I think it's becoming a lot more widely available now.
That's great.
Good.
Yeah.
So,
so maybe you'll get to go to your house at some point.
Responding to you, Ben.
No, see,
there
you can't have the chat open at the same time as the.
Well, no, there you go. It's on the screen, Ben.
Okay. So, there you go.
Oh no, this is not a response to you. This is a response to Steve.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Yeah. G7 leaders complete from the messages.
Oops.
Well, okay, that escaped. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
But they held it outside, didn't they, or some part of it? So I thought that was the part of the remix.
I don't know. The whole thing was such a
I
shit
don't know.
show.
I just listen to the headlines, man. Otherwise, you spend the whole time listening to the news, and then that'd just be too depressing for words.
You're right about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
So, what about the Olympics, Ben? What do you know about that?
Nothing actually, to be honest with you. I haven't.
Does anyone know anything?
I haven't
about
been.
the Olympics?
Since it's not here, I haven't been paying much attention to it. To be honest
Yeah,
with you.
I'm told the majority of the country is nowhere near vaccinated there. It's kind of an interesting thing.
Well, and then I think we're going to see other countries just starting to pull their athletes and say, well, we're not sending people to Japan. Well, we're not sending people there. We're not sending people there. So I think even if it does go off, it's going to be a shit show.
Yeah, well, they did talk about some pretty strict rules, and I guess violating some rules, and you could be disqualified or financially impacted, if you will. It's going to be an interesting game.
I wonder if the lighting design group is out there setting up, because they do usually all the broadcasts for NBC, and they're out at the Olympics a month before the Olympics start, 6 to 8 weeks ahead of time. I don't know. I'll try to reach out to Steve Brill next week.
I hate to say this, but I wish John Wiseman was here right now, because he'd probably have an answer to that.
He probably
Yeah,
would know.
Yeah, I'm sure he's
Probably
got
would.
stuff going on out there.
Probably.
Yeah. Bob, you got anything for us today?
Oh, I got a few things actually.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah, I just
Hey,
had
Bob.
to share some different stuff today. I found this. I've had this for a while. Now, some of you guys might recognize that. Where's the camera? Who do you think that act is?
ELO?
You bet. That's the rooftop
Wow.
going up. That's what a great rig that was, huh?
Who is that?
It's ELO.
Oh, well, that was a pretty damn
Electric
good
Light
guess, wasn't
Orchestra.
it?
The beginning of the
Yeah,
show.
good guess.
I can take the rest of the
Starship.
I can take the rest of the day off now because I got one right.
Good call.
Now
Absolutely.
the rest of you guys got to answer his questions.
But
Okay, give me an easy one, Bob.
this is not easy.
The
Uh,
Beatles.
So this is obviously Queen, but it's not. Now, that is end of World War II. That's every searchlight on the island. Some guy, some lighting dude, managed to get every searchlight. If you look really carefully, you can see the white Navy guys lined up underneath a miniature. This must have looked in Waikiki like, oh my God, they've landed.
Holy shit.
That's
Wow.
like, we're
That
we're
is
talking
so cool.
right? I mean, that's big.
Look at the size of the light next to the guy standing next to
Oh, yeah.
it. Holy
Look at
crap.
that one more time, because it's an amazing shot. This is Schofield Barracks here. So, everybody goes,
Man, you must have been just a teenager when you did that show, Bob.
no, middle-aged back.
Yeah.
So then I just, I'm a lighting guy. So you got to have a copy of, Mr. McCandless's book on a method of lighting a stage. This is a Stanley
Very cool.
McCandless, and it
Sorry,
includes
it's Stanley McCandless. What was
Yeah.
that again?
Stanley
Stanley
McCandless.
who?
Are you pulling my leg, or do you
No.
really know?
I was trying to see the author.
There's a good chance.
Yeah. All right. But this includes how's it hanging? There you go. How to circuit and see. And there's safeties. Good heavens. That's amazing. But I've also got something as simple as I was reading the other day. There's like a meme that, that said, you think you're all advanced nowadays? The car manual 50 years ago said how to adjust your valves. Now it says don't drink the battery acid. And I thought, boy, we've really gone downhill. But you need to work on your car. I mean, and didn't even bother to tell you positive or negative here. That is a car work light to hang under your
Amazing.
Is that cool or what?
That is
And the top
amazing.
doubles as a crank. So,
So is
great.
that a 12 volt
Yeah.
DC light
well,
bulb?
I'll bet it worked at 6 volts too.
Can you still buy a light bulb for that?
I'm sure there's an LED
I don't know.
replacement
Yeah,
somewhere.
Have one with a bulb out. Please don't ask me. I ain't got none. And let's see. Now, let's say you had to build a road case, and it was like turn of the century, and you had to put in like handles, or you wanted to put a sticker in the cover. Well, then you'd need yourself a Stanley 01. That's a router.
Oh my God.
That's a manual router.
Wow.
Nice.
Very cool.
Can you guys imagine the garage sale that Bob's wife is going to have to do someday when he finally
Yeah,
passes
no.
away?
Isn't she just going to get those American Pickers guys to show up and
Somebody's going to have to clean this shit out.
fly everything to Nashville?
It's going to be quite a garage sale, I'll tell you that.
Indeed.
Yeah.
I've got one last one. Hold on. This is a pretty amazing shot. And again, if you might have seen this one before, but you know what that is, right?
Well, yeah, that's
We're
frame.
seeing the frame there, buddy.
Right. Hold on. Or there you
There
go.
you go.
Much better.
Yeah.
That is Bikini Island. That is a test of nuclear war weapons at sea.
Holy shit.
Wondering whether the Navy ought to have them. And that big spout going upward, that is a Japanese destroyer going vertical.
Holy shit.
Wow.
You've got to think the guy who
Damn.
took the picture, either the tidal wave took him out or the radiation fallout.
No shit. That's
obviously-
crazy.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That is crazy.
So I think
Damn.
that's a good place to leave it. That's
Wow.
that's like a holy moly.
That is insanity. Wow.
Anyway, and I think you can run them now on both AVO and MA lighting consoles.
That's good. That's a bonus.
I'm just happy to be
Okay.
alive after seeing that. Yeah,
Yeah, no kidding. I mean,
jeez.
I don't know how
That's
many
wacky
times you've
shit.
actually avoided the big one, huh?
Yeah.
You will never know.
All right, friends.
That's crazy.
We are I'm gonna go.
Hey, it's been fun. It's been nice seeing
All right,
everyone.
No, it's super nice seeing all of you.
Look
Bye-bye.
forward to hearing the thing on
Appreciate y'all.
Friday.
Absolutely. That's gonna be a fun one.
All right.
See you guys.
Take care, everybody.
Bye now.
Have a good
Hey,
week, all.
Hold it.
Hell yeah.
Hold it. Hold
What?
it.
Happy Father's Day.
And to
Oh.
you as well.